been gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
I'm trying to get all my stuff organized. Welcome, everyone. This is really weird. Facing this direction. But I'll hold the space. I'm able to see everything, and you still need to go to the restroom, feel free to. I am planning on using blocks myself because we're going to do lizard pose eventually. With that being said, lizard pose, you will be down on one knee. So if you need a blanket or a knee pad for extra padding, have that available. I'm also going to be amping it up just a little bit at some point in the practice today. It's something that you have done before, but you may not feel like doing it today because yesterday was a new moon. A new moon in Pisces actually was yesterday. And anytime we have a new moon, the energy can be a little lower. It may be a little bit more of a struggle to get us up and going. So if you feel that energetically, what I'm referring to is we were going to lift a leg and then try to go into cheetah, right? And that's not the most gentle maneuver, right? And this is a gentle class. So if you need to come to tabletop, and if you want to flare a leg back and then do it this way, this is the more gentle style of that. Feel free to take it, okay? So what I want to talk about today as part of our Dharma talk is the delicate dance between control and letting go. Because we are attempting to develop both skills in our yoga practice. For instance, if we are focused on active poses, then we give you cues what to do with your physical mechanics, how to align your skeletal system, how to use certain muscle groups. Putting that into action is part of developing some self-control over the physical body and having integrity and proper alignment to keep safe while you're doing an active pose. But then we have poses that are yin and restorative, right? Where that doesn't necessarily apply, right? In yin, there's not a lot of rules alignment-wise. It's okay to veer off track with that because it's a different intention. We soften the muscles. We're not contracting the muscles. We're not as concerned about skeletal alignment in yin because we're trying to target the connective tissues. However, even though we're letting the body go in yin, we're still trying to maintain some control over the breath and over the mind. That way the mind's not ricocheting into the thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow, or towards another activity that you're going to do later today. It's still focused either on the breath or your attention to the present moment. And then we have the senses, right? Sometimes we utilize the senses. I haven't been using music in here lately, but a lot of classes that I teach do have music. And so music is something that comes in through listening, right? Sometimes that can also be a distraction. Same with aromatherapy. You know, I used to use aromatherapy all the time. I haven't been using it as much since COVID. But there is a technique where you use one sense at a time, whether that's listening or smelling or tasting or visual, in order to maintain your mindfulness on that one particular sense so that you're withdrawing from the other senses. Even pratyahara, we don't even have to hone in on one sense. It's the withdrawal of the senses or transcending the senses so that we can move beyond it. And then, of course, we have meditation. Meditation has all these different techniques that we could utilize. We could use our breath. We could use a mantra. We could use something tactile like mala beads. We could do a walking meditation. We could do an eating meditation. There's all different types. But that's still the technique. So once we develop the discipline and the control of the technique, we arrive to that place of meditation, which is called samadhi. It's that peace, it's that potential, it's that spaciousness, it's that bliss or ecstasy. And then boom, we can let go of the technique. and we can move into the state of being. Restorative yoga, we're relaxing the body, we're completely in a state of being, but we're still trying to concentrate the mind. So there's this delicate dance back and forth between control and letting go. So I'm going to give you a human example, because what we're learning through these skills is to be applied off the mat in life. So my son's graduating. This isn't new news. And it's going to be in May. And that's usually when graduations are, right? End of May, beginning of June. And he falls into the 6th grandchild of 8. Now, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm the youngest of 4 girls. We've all had our kids. There is nothing like that first grandchild. The first grandchild is golden. I get it. I still look at my niece that was the first grandchild born in our family, and I'm like, she gets the crown, like, because we all had a chance to bond with her and to bond with her one-on-one. Unlike some of the other grandchildren, okay? When more and more children come around, there's more personalities to deal with, and you may not get that special time alone with them or that special bond. But when all of the other nieces and nephews have graduated, we have all showed up. My parents, me and my sisters, the husbands, all of our children, the whole slew, the whole gang, right? And now my son's graduating, and I've been asking, okay, who's coming for the graduation? Because I need to make sure I have tickets for it. Because nowadays you only get so many tickets. And I've had 3 people tell me they're coming. So I have been taking that personally. And it's not even my graduation. I've been taking it personally. I'm like, why aren't they coming? Why aren't they prioritizing this? I went for all their kids' graduations. Right, so I came home from a Reiki retreat over the weekend, and Rob and I were sitting and talking, and I was explaining my frustrations about this to him. And he's very Libra, you know, which is the scales of justice. And I appreciate that about him, actually. And he said, you know, Robbie, maybe you're looking at this the wrong way. He said, who's always going to see who? I was like, well, I'm always going to see them. He said, exactly. They don't come here to see you and Gabe. And he said, do they like to travel a lot? Do they ever really leave their hometown that much? And I'm like, no, but they take the same vacation every year. He goes, and that's another thing. He said, they're normal people. And he didn't mean this bad to me, but he said, they're normal. You're not normal. He said, you always go above and beyond. You're always the one going and doing. They expect that from you. And he said, and he's right. I have wanderlust, and I'm kind of a gypsy at heart. And the only time I was really the most stable I've ever been is when I owned Half Moon Yoga. That was so stable for me. And now that I have the freedom to fly again, I go. But I needed to hear that. I needed to hear they're the norm. You're not the norm. So just accept it. And it was just the way he presented it. It was like he had the aerial point of view from being an outsider looking in. And I'm like, I get it. I'm trying to control the situation. I have a certain expectation, and it's disappointing me, and it's frustrating me, but I'm putting that on myself. So I have to let it go. Like, it's out of my control. So he was helping me put the yoga into play. You see what I mean? There are times where we are in control and need to be in control. And that's what yoga teaches us through the yamas. The yama means control. That is part of the 8-limb path of yoga. Control these things. And as long as we're controlling our own thoughts, words, and actions, that's all we really can control. We can't control anybody else. We can't control an outcome. We can't control other people's choices. And it's a good reminder over and over again when we come to the mat. What can we control? And what do we need to relinquish control with? So there's the delicate dance. It shows up in the yoga on the mat, but it shows up in life off the mat. But it's still yoga. So let's put this into play. I have something really cool to start with. Let's start standing. Well, I think it's cool. Hopefully you think it's cool. It's some breath work. And you know how when we're standing in Tadasana, I'll say, line up your skeleton stone, push down through your feet, lift through your kneecaps. I don't want that. No Tadasana. We're just lightly on the feet. The knees are loose, right? Not super bent, but relaxed, okay? And the hands are going to be open at our waist. And when we start to do the breathing mechanics, you can have your eyes open until you get the pattern, then you can close your eyes. And then I'm going to add in the second piece. You can open your eyes, but then close your eyes once you've got it. And then I'll add in a third piece, and you can open your eyes to see the third piece if it confuses you, but then close your eyes and then mix right into the practice, okay? So take a deep breath in and lift your hands up towards your heart. As you exhale, flip your hands down and breathe your palms in the direction of your feet. Good. Inhale, flip them open. Lift the hands up towards the heart. Exhale, flip your hands and push the palms down towards the earth. All right, this is the first pattern in movement. Breathing the hands up to the chest and breathing the hands to face down towards the earth. Continue. One more with this first step. Inhale the hands back up to the heart. The second piece is exhale, push the hands out in front of your chest. Then turn the hands in, draw into the heart. Good, exhale, push the hands down towards the floor. All right, good. Inhale, back up to the heart. Exhale, push the hands out in front of the chest. Good, inhale, bring them back in. Exhale, send them back down. This is the new pattern, breathing up to the heart, breathing away from the chest. Breathing into the heart, breathing down towards your feet. Again. New movements. Inhale, arms circle up. Exhale, hands push down to the front side of the body, all the way down to the arms straighten out. You got it. Inhale, flip your hands, breathe up to the heart. Breathe out in front of your chest. Inhale to the heart. Exhale down to the feet. Inhale, arms circle wide and overhead. Exhale, the hands push down in front of your chest, down in front of your abdomen, down in front of your thighs. Inhale to the heart. Exhale, push the hands away. Inhale, draw the hands in. Exhale, push the hands down. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hands push down towards the floor. Inhale up to the heart. Exhale out in front. Inhale back to the heart. And exhale, arms down, and that will complete that breathing exercise. And then as you inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Flip a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Dig the left foot firmly into the floor. Accentuate the length on the left side and sway and swerve to the right, Chandrasana. Inhale, tilt back up. Exhale, separate your hands. Inhale, clip your right wrist, elongate your right side body. Exhale, pour to your left, Chandrasana, crescent moon. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, remove that left hand, and exhale, bring your hands down to prayer, bend the knees, and sit back with your hips. Inhale, straighten your legs, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, pour down to your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen out halfway. Exhale, roll back down towards your thighs. Inhale, all the way up. Clip a hold of your right wrist. Lengthen your right side. Exhale, lean left. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, clip your left wrist. Swerve to the right. Inhale, back to the top. Exhale, hands together. Sit down and back with your hips. Good. Inhale, coming all the way up with straight legs. Exhale, fold forward and down. Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. In and lift halfway up. Out and lower back down and in. One more of those. Inhale, bring yourself all the way up to the top. This time I'll hold the left wrist. Push down through your left foot. Lift up through your left hand. Sway out through your hip. Inhale, back up. Exhale, separate the hands. Inhale, take your right wrist. Accentuate the right side body as you curve to crescent moon. Inhale to the top. Exhale, Anjali Mudra hands coming down like chair. Inhale, boosting up with straight legs, arms overhead. Exhale, dive forward and down. Uttanasana. Now, bend your knees and hold dangling pose. So having that loose bend in the knees, let your arms release like a rag doll, so your hands are flipped open if they happen to touch down. Giving some time here so that we're decompressing the low back from our constant sitting and standing. Softening the muscles of the face. Releasing and relaxing the jaw. So even in the aspect of letting go, there still is a little bit of control here so that we're not moving into habit of doing the other variation of this position. Now that other alternate style is Uttanasana, and more action is applied. So we're going to add that in now. So really spread your toes, push down through the soles of the feet, straighten out through your leg bones, and feel how your calves are firming up. Feel the muscular engagement. Allow the belly to even be nice and snug, hugging in towards your back body. Affirming nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Now on your next in-breath, we're going to step that left foot way back. Now, if you want to bring those blocks in, you certainly can. But I would have them on a lower height because we're going to be taking a twist. It'll make sense when we're there. But before we do that, line up your front knee over the ankle. This is where the skeletal alignment comes into play with it being active. Your back thighs plucking up, your back heels pressing back, and then you're trying to shine your heart forward. Your neck is elongated as well, and you're going to circle that right arm skyward, spinning the belly towards that front knee. And then as you exhale, bow your head, thread the arm underneath, looking towards your hand. Follow your hand, lifting the head, sweeping back, open into the twist. And then exhale, thread and loop the arm under. Good, continue this way. And one more. Now cross the block over to the inside of the right foot, heel toe the right foot over just a bit, lower the back knee and set your back shin to the floor. Awesome, check in to see if you need extra support. And then the blocks are here if by chance you want to settle onto your forearms. We're dropping into that lizard pose. Now, just because I've suggested that doesn't always mean that you should, right? You may feel like today is best with straight arms. So when you're melting and sinking and surrendering into this pose, then you should feel a deep stretch in the front part of your left hip and the front part of your back thigh. If you're not feeling anything there, you probably have the knee too far towards the front of the mat, and you may need to shimmy the left shin back. It's okay for the head to bow, the eyes to close. Utilizing your breath, especially the out breaths, which will help you to relinquish some control. This is meant to be passive. Even though we're not micromanaging the body, the control comes in through the breath. So 3 more breaths. Those 3, we're restacking, we're lifting, we're reframing even that front foot, heel toeing it back in, just a baby step or so. Curl the back toes under, pop up that knee. We're bringing that back foot forward and immediately stepping the right foot back, lunging the left knee. And then discovering here, since we're going to be doing the twist, you may want the blocks to a lower height, if at all. Plug down your right hand, spin open to your left. Good. And then exhale, thread it underneath the thigh, bowing your head, looking towards the hand. Inhale, twisting, exhaling, threading. Inhale this version of reverse side angle. And one more. Now, let's bring that block to the inside of the left foot, make some space for it. Lower the back knee, shin foot to the floor. And then you get to decide for today, arms straight or forearms. So, Inspirations can build your patience. The exhalations can help to manage the sensation. The exhalations can flush out these areas that we're targeting. That is whether or not it's your mind or body that wants to run away first. And you stay committed to this pose. This next breath. Hold for 3 more. The third, you can come back up to straight arms. You can reframe that foot and then allow the hips to draw back and your left knee to join beside your right. We don't need the blocks now, so we can stand on our palms. So from here, I want us to turn the left forearm in front of us and drop it down to the ground. And just make sure that you're not flopping. You're actually rooting your right hand, rooting the left forearm so your head stays up. Gaze over the right shoulder, lift your right leg, lift and lengthen that leg back behind you. Push through your heels, splay out through your toes, really fire into it. And then as you exhale, bend the knee, draw it in towards the right upper arm. And then as you inhale, power it and stretch it back again. But the more you activate the foot, the more you're going to feel the strength, even coming up into the buttocks. Let's draw it in on the exhale. Inhale, power it up and back. Exhale, draw it back in. Last one. After you pull it in towards the right arm, you can lower the right knee and come back to table. And then we'll drop the right forearm. Keep anchoring that side of the body. Gaze over the left shoulder. Pick up your left leg. Spread out through the toes. Push through your heel. Try not to bend the knee. Good. Exhale. Now bend the knee. Draw it in toward the left upper arm. Inhale, sail it up and back. Pause at the top of that inhale, and then exhale, bring it in. Good, continue with your breath. And then sink your left knee to join your right. Stay on your right forearm, but you're turning the fingers to the front. And you're going to drop your left arm to create your Sphinx. All right, let your belly flop. Let your tailbone stay lifted, and then lift through the top of your head and look forward into the room. As you exhale, you're going to reverse that, dropping the tailbone, scooping in through the belly, and spilling the chin to the chest. Inhale. Cow tilt. Exhale. That stretch. Inhale, open the front body, squeeze the back body. Exhale, squeeze the front body, open the back body. And continue. The next time you lift your head, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can slide your legs back, you can crawl your arms forward, or basically coming down to the belly. So that low band of the belly is part of the foundation of this pose. So the main foundation is the low band of the belly to the top of the thighs, pubic bone in the middle.
to make that pubic bone count as the primary foundation, it requires a tucking of the tailbone. So drop the tailbone and press into the floor with the pubic bone. Stretch your legs back, your feet back, push the forearms down, lift high through your heart center, elongate your neck. This is the active form. And then slightly turn your heels a little closer in. Ah, feel that? That's the thing I always have to remind myself of. Flip the heels in. It's not that you're turning them towards each other, but you are trying to make them parallel. This is work, right? When you put all this into action, when you're controlling all these mechanics. But the beauty is, there's another way of doing it. Let's separate the feet. Let's give a little wiggle to the hips. And then let's shrink into the shoulders and bow the head. Now, some people like putting a block underneath the head. I think it kind of takes away from the stretch personally, but you may need the support. Maybe that stretch gives you a headache. If that's the case, bring in the support. Or if you want the support, walk the arms in front of you, and you could always leave the neck out of the equation and rest in prayer hands. Now in the passive version, notice how your belly becomes the primary foundation. Especially if you're resting in prayer hands. Breathe in a deep diaphragmatic way. Okay, lifting your head up, opening your eyes, affirming our eyes joyfully to meet each and every new opportunity and learning to discern through the delicate dance of control and letting go. Let's bring the hands not just underneath the shoulders like cobra, but actually slide them back a little bit more towards the base of your ribs. Scoot your feet in a little closer together. Squeeze your arms in towards your side body, and then push through your palms and lift your pelvis off the floor, up dog, long enough to curl the toes under and to roll back to downward facing dog. Now in your downward facing dog, just take a moment to feel the shape of your body, this inverted V shape. But this is a pose that we're all familiar with and that we've probably developed some poor patterns with. But remember, this is meant to be an active pose. So are you spreading out your fingers? Are you flattening your hands? Are you really using the mounds of the hands? Are you dialing them slightly away from each other? Are you lifting up and out of your wrist? Are you straightening out through your elbows? Are you pushing up away from your shoulders? Are you cinching in through your low ribs and abdomen? Are your hips as high as possible? Are you truly rooting your feet? Are you rolling your thighs in and powering them back? Because there's a lot of self-control and action in this pose. Now, we're going to start going into that cheetah that I showed you at the start of class. So if you need to come to your knees, please listen to your body. We're going to inhale, lift the right leg first. And then we exhale, cheetah, shoulders over hands, nose toward knee. Inhale, lengthen away from the fingertips, right leg like an extension of the tailbone, and then exhale, cheetah. Again, you can do this from tabletop. Inhale, extend. This is last one. Exhale, cheetah, but bring that shin and knee down to the floor behind your hands for pigeon. And then if you need your back, follow Denny's lead. He'll steer you in the right direction. And then determine, do you want to be high? Do you want to be low today? There's benefits to both. Let's take the weight off your wrists. Your hands a break. The hips are about the water element. The water element is about going with the flow. The resistance to that natural flow, it's like creating your own inner dam. I'm need to release control and just go with the flow, accepting what is. This is one of the lessons of this chakra. Have you guys ever been whitewater rafting? You know what they tell you, right? When you fall off the boats, you know, they tell you to take this certain position with your arms and they tell you to totally relax so that the current of the river can take you downstream to catch back up the boat. Otherwise, if you're kicking and flaring in the water, in resisting the current, you're getting stuck. And the boat's gonna leave you behind. All right, inhale, let's slowly come up. So we'll do that cheetah on the other side, so we can curl the back toes under, and you can transition through down dog, or of course, you can go back to tabletop as well. So inhale, the left leg's going to extend back, and the exhale, you contract the core and curl in. Inhale, long linear lines. Exhale, scrunch in the belly. We're doing 3 sets, but after that third contraction, we're gonna bring that shin behind the hands and set up for this swan or pigeon to the other side. Again, discovering each side's unique, so maybe you need to be high on one, low on another. Find the delicate dance between what you need to control and what you need to release. Hold for 3 more. So once you plant your palms shoulder distance apart, we're gonna back up the left leg, line up the knees side by side, and you're gonna walk your hands out as you sink your hips back and drape the belly over your thighs. So in other words, you're coming into an active child's pose. Reaching with the arms, elbows flying up. The head may or may not want to spill to the floor here, so don't force it. But then we're gonna let this pose go. So flip your hands open and circle them around beside your legs. And then let your shoulders just rain down beyond your knees. You'll notice the spine will start to round a little. almost like the shape of a teardrop. Same pose, but two different approaches. They're both beneficial, yet can give you a different result. All right, we've got one more pose where we're going to go from active to passive and reach the arms in front of you again. Rock up to tabletop position. We're going to start off active. Separate your feet if the big toes were touching. Flip your left hand, thread the needle. Now keep your right hand aligned in front of your face. Push lightly into that right hand so that you can feel your back ribs. Does everyone feel their back ribs? If you don't, your hand should be in front of your face. You're pushing into the hands so that you can feel your back ribs. All right, now anchor your left foot down and you're going to fly the right leg up and back like we were doing earlier in preparation for this pose. Toes are splayed. You're balancing and breathing. Now bring the right knee down to rest and slide your right forearm out to rest and even drop down on your left cheek to rest and allow your weight to plummet down on your left arm. So the difference here is in the end, you should feel the stretch in the arm you're resting on. The belly can sink. Your low back can concave here. The more you let go. Let your right hand slide back close to the face. Plug that hand into the floor to unwind the twist. And then we'll flip the right hand, thread and loop it under. We're being active, which means we're keeping the left hand in front of the face. We're slightly pushing into that hand to roll into the back ribs. And then shift your weight onto the right shin. Pick up your left leg. Send it up and out, activate that foot. Bring the work all the way into the left side of the buttocks. Feel your core tightening. Try not to hold your breath. This will work as our final inversion and twist. Good. Now, gently lower your left knee. Slide your left forearm out. And flop down to the right cheekbone and temple. And submit all your weight onto the right arm.
So just consider that previous pose, you were working with that pose, so it was doing. Here, you've created the shade, you're resting in it and just be a delicate dance between control and letting go. You're ready, sliding your left hand closer, unwinding from your twist. And this is what I want you to consider. We had a time change over the weekend. You may be off with your sleep. If you are, please head to the wall, some legs at the wall. It's the best recipe for that. If your sleep is good and maybe you've been managing your time wisely and you haven't had an issue with that, then you can set up however you would like. You obviously have 2 blocks in the bolster. You're welcome to create a slide or just a simple bolster under your knees. And I'll dim the lights. Anything, just give me a way and I'm happy to bring whatever you're lacking to you. Remember, if you send legs up the wall, cater to your body, especially your hamstrings. You can shimmy and get really flush to the wall if your hamstrings are open to that. And if they're not, shimmy back and leave some space. Now, before you drift away too much, I want you to consider with certain skills, they need to be developed before you're able to freestyle. For instance, if you were learning how to play an instrument, you have to get used to how the instrument feels in your hands. You have to figure out how to play it. You have to figure out the notes. You have to figure out the tones. And then at first you're maybe mimicking someone else, playing certain notes until you finally learn how to play a song. And then eventually you'll have enough knowledge and experience to freestyle and to make up your own song. Think about with yoga, when we first came to the practice, we didn't know what we were doing. We were having to figure out how to create these shapes. And then once we got more familiar with it, we could actually roll out our mat at home or on vacation or on our deck. And even still, we could only remember a few poses at a time. But with more practice, we can roll out the mat and create a whole practice. When you're in Shavasana, you may have enough experience and practice and know-how to be able to drop right in. And sometimes it takes training. And that training is developing some control. And it's the control or the technique that gets us into the space where we're wanting to be. And at that point, you can drop it and release it and just be in that state of consciousness. It's the delicate dance. So find your formula, whatever technique you want to apply today, and I'll leave you in silence.
The observing of your breath. And slowly bring it back under your command. As you're deepening the breath, bring some movement to your hands and feet. Exit from the pose that you chose. And join me in a comfortable seat. Bringing the hands up. Together at the heart. May we all continue to play with this delicate dance between control and letting go. Reminding ourselves that really the only thing we can control is our own thoughts, words, and actions. Let's take this lesson with us beyond the mat today. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you guys for being here today. I hope it's what you needed. A little blend of flow and a few yin poses in the mix. I know Denny likes yin. I do too. Have a beautiful day. I know there's a lot of extra workshops going on this month. And Lane's doing a yoga nidra. There's someone coming in from out of town who's going to be doing intuitive readings. There's a sound bath, unless that already happened. That just happened. Okay, forget that one. So as a workshop with Maria, and then I'll be doing a restorative sound bath next month in April. Good.